Welcome back. Before we get started, right, two things I say. This car has just had a time belt done less than 24 hours ago, so I'm hoping it's not going to break down on the way, and I'm hoping they're doing a good job. The second thing is, if you've got an interesting car, drop on my Instagram, drop us a message and just tell us what you've got. Maybe we'll meet up and do a video. But this video also came about through Instagram. There's a lad called Route, dropped us a message. He's like, Adam, I've got two RS500s. One's a race car, one's a road car. Do you want to come and have a look? I said I would love to, Route. So that's where we're going. We've just got to keep back and enjoy the scenery and get there. Follow the sat nav.
I'm driving, you're smiling, just really doing nothing. That's the thing I like about you. On the highway, it's our way, Route 66, and we keep on driving. We just do what we wanna do.
We're nearly here, right? It gives us a postcode and it led us to like a rough area. Then I've got to follow like some directions to get there. It's just along here. Oh, I can see it, I can see it. Bit there. Nice place. Oh, TVR.
Hey, playing songs on the radio, sing along to the words that we don't know how. Brings out the problems. Let's just run away. Yeah, I could drive the whole along. Be with you is like being on the rodeo house. Brings out the problems. I got a little crush on you.
Mate, this is immaculate.
Oh, you're welcome.
Can I just clip this on your t-shirt just before we start? Just before, don't forget. Hook it on anywhere you want, wherever's comfortable. Oh, I've got hay fever, mine, so it might.
I had to have a tablet earlier on. I was like,
as well. Let's get on about the countryside.
it's been so bad. There are more nicer looking standard cars now because I think as the values went up and they got a bit more sought after, people preferred the standard cars. So I think there are a lot of cars now that are standard, but they weren't always, you know. But I'm not precious about them. You know, like my brother looks at it and he just thinks it's some old 1980s boy racer car. And he's right, you know.
It is.
My mum looks at it and just thinks it's a death trap. She's right.
I'll get jealous of your bigger turbo of mine.
That's the thing that makes them not so great to drive.
The turbo?
Yeah, they just, you know, they're, the threshold on them, as you'll know, is really, really high. So it drives like a breathless 1.6 up to about £4,000. Then all hell breaks loose, which is what I like about it. It's another thing. I mean, certainly back in the day, they were sort of known for it, but now compared to modern turbocharged stuff, which is got some very, very clever control of boost. I say stage 3, but it's got greens on it, but they're painted up to look like yellows. That's the exhaust that came on it from the factory.
You've been out with your battle or something?
I keep meaning to get one of those replica ones that they do, put on it.
And just keep this one?
Yeah, just hang it up and blow it out with some, you know, you get the oil lines you can pull through and just blow oil on the inside to protect it. Yeah, but I've never got round to it. But yeah, it's factory exhaust that. Still got factory stickers on it and everything.
I thought it was actually one of the aftermarket stainless steel ones.
No.
It's got a nice shine to it.
It's all right. It's probably completely rotten on the inside, to be honest, but it still looks all right. It's got Bilsteins and Ibachs on it because they just, the original ones were wrecked.
What number's this one?
337.
337?
Yeah.
I've never seen many like original RS500s, but this is immaculate, this one, like it really is. What's it like underneath?
Pretty similar.
Is it?
Yeah.
And what's the sticker on the windscreen?
I'd love to use this more.
Tell us a bit about this one.
So this is a genuine car. For starters, it is a genuine touring car. It was built by Andy Rouse in early '88, and it was Andy's caliber. It was this car. It was that was the car that he built. He drove it in '88. It was a good car for him. It was the most successful car that he ever built. I think actually, I mean, certainly that he drove. I think there were 13 rounds in '88. One of them they didn't run, which was the Birmingham Super Prix, because I think there was a crash in another race and they messed up the track and they just ran out of time. So that wasn't run. So that took it down to 12 rounds. I know, I'm sort of approximating on the figures here, but essentially that year, out of all the races that were run, this won all of them apart from 2. But it didn't win championship. It won Group A, but it didn't win the championship because I think that was the year that Frank Sittner won it in the M3, and the M3 was just dominant in Class B. It literally won everything because this had a couple of DNFs. The last round he got a puncture, and it either DNF'd or it finished way down the running. So he missed out on the championship, which was very unfortunate. So at the end of '88, the car was sold together with another Rouse built car, which was the it was the ICS car, Pete Hall's ICS car, driven by Pete Hall, and Rob Gravitt ran it as well.
Right.
He drove it a few times, and those cars were sold to Brock Racing Team in Australia. They went out to Australia, were painted in the Mobil colours. Brocky was always sponsored by Mobil, certainly throughout the 80s. Brocky drove it in '89 and a little bit in 1990 as well. Not a huge success. I think he won one round in this car, something like that. How good a car is it? I mean, and it's not about the condition that it's in. It does play a part. It's a racing car, so they're always going to get bashed, rebuilt. It's like I was saying before. Normally, when this one sits away, it doesn't have a cover on it. This one does. I'm petrified of this getting a mark on it. This one, so that's not too bad. So they do get, but it's very original. It's
That's what I like about them. Like, if this was as clean as this, it wouldn't have the character.
No.
Like, I mean, you can see, has it had a front end knock at some point or something? No?
Nope.
Just the bonnet looks a bit...
It's had a new bonnet.
Is that what it is?
Got a new bonnet on it. Original front wings. The doors aren't original. Were replaced while it was racing. But under here, you can still see where originally the Rouse cars had the air jack and the electrical cut off in the front wings here, in like a little recess. And underneath, when you go up and poke around, you can still see where it's been had a plate welded over and filled. It's the original wing from '88. You know, it's just.
I like all the stone chips, and it wouldn't be the same if it was immaculate. You would look at it and you think, oh, this is a replica.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's been raced, it picks up marks.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's some things I want to do to tidy it up.
Is there? What do you want to do?
These wheels are going to come off and get refurbed.
Right.
Because they just look a bit tatty. And I've cleaned up the BBS ones. They need a bit of a polish, but they're cleaned up now and they'll go on. But it's very original. The seat's a new seat because it was run. Like I say, it was raced in a couple of championships in New Zealand, and the guys that I bought it off here in the UK, they'd also run it in one of these kind of like Ford series a few times. Yeah, good bunch of lads actually, and pretty handy drivers. They'd run it a bit, but they dropped a different engine in. They had a few Fords.
Still a YB though?
Yeah. But I think it came out of an Escort. They had an Escort Cosworth. From what I understand, it had come into the UK with one or more other cars as part of a deal. And it just got stored in a lockup somewhere near Gatwick or something. I can't remember exactly where it was, but I just left a bit really. Nobody's really interested in them back then. So these guys bought it and thought it might be a bit of fun. They ran this engine. They got it running. It ran. They knew nothing about it. They didn't want to take the risk. And they already had an engine that they knew was good. That I think it came out of an Escort. I'm not sure, out of a Cosy Escort. So they dropped that in because they knew it'd work. So it went in with the ECU and everything, and they ran it like that. And this motor just stayed in their workshop. I've been trying to get a Group A car for years, and I've missed out on so many. And then Peter Brock was a bit of a legend. I don't know how much you know about him, but in Australia, he's an absolute hero. He's arguably the most famous racing driver that ever came out of Australia. Proper homegrown hero type fella, you know. And tragically, he was killed in an accident some years ago now. Is it 2010 or something like that? Yeah. He was doing this is it Targa Tasmania race? It's like one of these sort of like road race type things across Australia.
Right.
It's legitimate. It's not like Cannibal Run or something like that. Yeah, went off the road and sadly he was killed. And they gave him a state funeral. An absolute hero of a guy. Anything that was associated with Brocky, the value just went through the roof. I thought at the time, because I knew about this car, I thought I'd love that. I'm just a huge Brocky fan. I thought this would be awesome. I've known Andy Rouse for a while. He raced with my dad back in the 80s. Not in the same team, but they were doing prod sports, I think. So they kind of know each other, and that sort of got me a connection with Andy. So I've spoken to him a few times about the car. So I like the you know, kind of got these guys who are heroes to me back in the day. Obviously, Brocky can't get him involved in it anymore, which is absolutely tragic. But when he went, and like I said, the values of anything that he touched went crazy. I thought it was going to be out of touch, and I went to have a look at the car. I was invited down by the guys that had it. It wasn't actually for sale. I went down there, and the guy said, look, you know, we've had it 5-10 years, however long they'd had it. We've had some good fun with it. They knew that I'd look after it. I wouldn't just sell it to Australia and make a quick buck on it or anything like that. As a genuine enthusiast, they agreed to sell it, which was absolutely fantastic. So that's kind of how it came about. And they said, do you want the engine that's in it, which was this motor that they put in, or we've got the original engine that came with it. But they said, we don't know anything about it. We're not going to guarantee it. Might not even run. Might be trash. But they said it's the original motor. And you can see, like, just on the cam cover here, but various stamps it's got on it there. You see it's got the Andy Rouse engineering stamp, and it's various other little things on it. I said, I'll take the original one.
Obviously,
And they put it in and went, oh, congratulations, it starts. I thought, well, that's
good sign, aye.
Yeah. So I brought it back, and I knew it ran, but it ran like a pig. They left the newer ECU in it as well, because it's got a level 8 in it. It's Ford level 8, so it runs all 8 injectors. They left that in, but of course it wasn't mapped to this engine. So standard choice, straight over to Motorsport Developments, and I said, pull it apart, have a nosy with it, see what you think. They didn't need to take the engine apart, but they ran a bunch of checks on it and said, well, you know, it runs, it seems okay. So I had a tinker around with it and said, what do you want to do? I said, just get it to the point where it's producing sensible power. I don't want it running huge boost. It went really, really well. So running sensible boost, it did, I think, about 430 horsepower on the dyno at Motorsport Developments.
So the engine's never been apart while you've had the car?
No.
So they didn't take it apart, it's still...
No, it's as it was, and it's apparently it pulled really well. If you go on YouTube, go to the Motorsport Developments YouTube channel. There's a video of it there. It's almost like a qualifying engine where they just built an absolute rocket ship engine. It's only got to do 5 laps, so they don't really care. It's almost like one of those.
Have you got the thing to put the Ajax up? Have you?
Yeah,
Do you use them?
They do work, yeah.
They're there?
Yeah. My compressor's only just got enough oomph. Sometimes it goes up a bit and you've got to kind of give it a bit of a hand to get it totally there. Right, you ready?
All right, go on, go.
I haven't quite got enough oomph. Oh, it's trying.
Get in there, get in there.
It should just go dunk.
Aye.
There you go. It's not quite got enough shove. Drop it down.
You letting it down?
Have a bang light. Just go doof.
Does it? Class.
It is cool. But it's been a brilliant thing to get involved in. I'm very, very lucky. I mean, it's...
Can I sit in?
Of course you can. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's
Put this down.
It's always a bit of a couple of things. It's never just luck, and it's never just our graft. People say, you must be really lucky, you know, to have something like that. Yeah, I am, but I also work quite hard. You know? And other people say, you must work really hard for that. Yeah, but I was quite lucky to get it as well. So it's always a bit of a mix, you know. Yeah,
Climb over this bar there.
Yeah, they're a bit awkward the first time you try and get in them. You've had a poke around in the cars at Paul's, haven't you?
I have, aye.
Not dissimilar. He's got some cracking cars up there now.
Paul, aye.
Really nice stuff. Good guy, Paul, actually.
He is.
He's
Helpful as well,
helped me a
isn't he?
lot. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh, the smell. Should we make that one air freshener? If I had this, I think I would just come out on a night, like on a Friday night with a bottle of Stella and just sit in it a bit and
I have done that.
fiddle with stuff. Aye.
Yeah, just get out there and just sit in it.
I would.
Take a couple of
definitely would.
pictures and just being with it. I often wonder if this thing could talk, the stories that it would tell. You know, all the stuff that it's done from its days in the UK through to being in Australia and everything else. It's probably got some great stories in it.
It's a shame they can't talk.
Yeah, and it's nice that it's original. I mean, there's nothing wrong with restored cars, especially if you buy one that's it's a bit of a wreck. I mean, some of them had extremely hard lives. I'm very lucky that this one hasn't. Yeah, it's got its patina and it's had a couple of bits done here and there, like it's had the new bonnet on it and what have you. But the rest of it is as it raced.
So Tyler, switches for which HRW?
Heated rear window.
All right.
Yeah, so I presume it fogged up a bit sometimes in the rain.
What's the diff?
It's the pump for the diff cooler.
Right.
So it's got two rads underneath for cooling.
Oh, so you've got a gauge as well, haven't you? To check your diff as your
Yeah.
ignition, pumps.
Yeah, ignition. So we've got low pressure and high pressure fuel pumps. Obviously a start, and that this thing here, I can't actually remember what it did.
What this?
This off on.
All right.
That's. I'm not sure if it didn't like deactivate the ammo valve or something like that.
Oh,
Give it a
right.
bit of extra boost. I don't know, but yeah, it's not the original cage. The cage was.
Isn't
changed.
it?
No, when this car was built, alley cages were legal. So originally it was built with an alley cage, and it was changed in '89. Brocky changed it for this cage.
Can we start?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's try and get out.
Yeah, not that straightforward.
Just put normal petrol in it.
Yeah, it's mapped for 98. It's one of the things that they did at MSD was mapped it to run on 98. So it just means that I don't have to go and source any rocket fuel. Yeah,
Aye.
it works all right. Right, let's see if she'll go. So on, let's go. Ignition, low. And we've got good fuel pressure. So there we go. It starts easier than the road car.
Sounds a bit, doesn't it? Have a sit in?
Of course, yeah.
What's the brakes on them? APs?
They are APs, yeah. I couldn't tell you what the spec is, to be honest, Adam. I've absolutely no clue, but they are APs, yeah. It's got a clutch like a switch. I mean, they all have. Got a real jewel of a clutch in it, little multi-plate, small clutch. Beautiful piece of kit, but it's like a switch. I mean, just
on or off?
Yeah, it's. But then they're all like that. So there's a fuel tank under it, there's a bag tank under it, regular Group A bag tank, and the fuel pumps and stuff are all under here.
I love to see stuff like this. Like I love the way they're built. I love everything about them.
Yeah, the
Just
engineering
everything.
in it. Yeah.
Just how they're all built, put together.
Yeah.
Like it's not perfect because it's just a tool at the end of the day, isn't it? It's just
Absolutely.
designed to do a job.
Absolutely. That was one of the things that was always quite a differentiator, I suppose, between the sort of the big rival between Rouse and Eggenberger. And I nearly bought. I don't know if you know the Bastos Eggenberger car.
The red
I don't know
one.
where it is at the moment, but it's.
Is it red?
It's white and red.
Is it?
Yeah, it's white and red.
I think there's a YouTube video on it, isn't there? In Australia.
Quite possibly. That car was in Switzerland for years. It was. Rudy told me about it himself. It was, in his eyes, it was the best car that they ever built. And if it's the best Eggenberger car that was ever built, it was the best of the best. I mean, the quality of the engineering in them was just second to none. They were just absolutely superb. And the Rouse cars, and I don't want to sound like I'm doing a disservice to Andy Rouse Engineering, because they built awesome cars and they did exactly what they were supposed to do, and the engineering was solid, but it wasn't necessarily the prettiest looking. It was like, yeah, it's good,
That'll do
it's
the job.
functional, ain't going to break,
Aye.
and they were quick cars, they were reliable cars, and they won a lot of stuff, which is why Andy Rouse built more Group A Sierras than anybody else. I mean, they just did loads because he built damn good cars.
Uh-huh.
I think back in the day, the cost of a Rouse car was about 100 grand, from what I understand, and Eggenberger's, certainly the earlier Texaco cars, were more like 250 to build, something like that. So a huge difference in what it cost to put them together. And just the finish on the Eggenberger cars was immaculate. It was absolutely beautiful. Whereas you look at not just Rouse, but pretty much everybody else, they build a car and go, well, why am I spending all that time making it look pretty? You know, does it work? Yeah. Is it quick? Yeah. Is it reliable? Yeah. Done.
Job done.
That's it. Spend your money on something else.
Aye.
It is nice to see how they've been put together and how they've been built, and I'd say various things have changed. There's a different seat in it because it would have been so old by now. It wouldn't have been. You've got to change them every so many years to remain safe.
Safe.
Same for the extinguisher and the belts, the harness. But other than that, it's
Original.
yeah. With all the little
love it.
foibles, all the little marks, all the little
Dints.
yeah, and it's got a few in it. And it's how it is.
It is.
But it's not overly restored. It's never been restored, really. And it's a question now of how much do you do to keep it that patina, keep that originality, but not have it so it's looking tatty or tired or anything like that. And that's quite a difficult balancing act. For me, some people would go, pull it to bits, give it the absolute works and make it look mint. And I've no issue with that.
No,
it's
each
not
to
my
the one,
thing.
isn't it? Absolutely,
It's not my
each to the
thing.
one. I wouldn't do it either. I don't think I would do anything to it if it was mine.
It's
I love it.
the few wee bits, just like these little scuffs here. That
Aye.
you know, it wouldn't have been presented at a race with stuff like that. It's just where it's been stored. You know, I might have done that for all I know. Do you know what I mean? Where it's just been stored and moved around and what have you.
I like the fact that they must have painted that, then they haven't quite left it long enough, and the print's gone in off the spoiler.
Yeah. There's all sorts of stuff. The spoiler's another one where like the paint's cracked off it because obviously it's flexible.
Aye.
It's just all cracked off, you know. I've got a mix here of like that's a 1990 decal because they were never sponsored by these guys in '89. So that's a legit 1990 decal on that. That's all 1990 spec, whereas some of the other stuff isn't.
Well, thanks for having us down, mate.
You are more than welcome, Adam. Good to see
Really
you.
enjoyed it.
Good. It's always nice to have a bit of a poke around
I like porting around people's garages and
poke
cars.
around and have a look at the old girls. It's nice to just see them out and
Enjoy them.
have a nosy around and see what it's all about. So you're always welcome. You know, if you ever want to come down and have a look around or
Have another coffee.
absolutely,
Spot on.
absolutely, you're more than welcome.
Thanks for watching, fellas, and until next time, I'll see you later. Spot on, mate. Easy
No
as
worries, no worries.
Easy
All
as
good,
that.
all good.